What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the number 2 ranked Pokemon on PvPoke for the Fossil Cup, Kartana, to see if it's actually as good as its ranking would suggest. Typically when a Pokemon is ranked 2 in the meta, you expect to see it a lot, but there are a couple reasons why you've probably not seen a single Kartana yet in your battles. The first and main reason is that to obtain this Pokemon below 1500 CP, you have to trade a research Kartana that was available during the Ultra Beast event a while back. The other reason is because it has the highest base attack stat out of all Pokemon available in this cup, and typically people stay well away from using Pokemon this glassy. Unfortunately, despite its huge popularity in the first couple of days of the Fossil Cup, I haven't seen any double Mod Boy teams over the last 2 days, which would have been glorious to see with Kartana, but despite that I was still able to climb around 100 elo in one day with this team. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What is the most overrated Pokemon for the Fossil Cup? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we need Shadow Gyarados into Pelipper. I am running Dragon Breath this time around, so this is a positive lead matchup, and I will be able to outpace them to the crunch, so I go for it just before they make it to the Hurricane, and we grab the shield from the opponent. No defense drop unfortunately, but I don't mind. Gyarados has grabbed a shield advantage, I'm happy with that. They will make it to back-to-back Weather Balls here. They didn't want to full send the Hurricane in case I shielded, so this is the smart play by the opponent. We come in with Lucario, they make it to a third Weather Ball, so I will shield this up, but I'm going to come out with a little bit of energy on my Lucario, and I should be able to grab a shield from anything that comes in, including this Swampert. So we go for the close combat, grabbing the shield. We come in with Kartana, and look at that Razor Leaf damage. The final Razor Leaf will go through and take out the Swampert. They get to a Hydro Cannon, that wasn't enough for the Earthquake, but Kartana is so glassy that we kind of need to shield that up, and they come in with a Ferrothorn. Now, the great thing is that typically Ferrothorn is going to be running Power Whip and Thunder, so they are both resisted. Power Whip is stab, so they have to go for Thunder here as the Power Whip is double resisted, and we make it to a second Night Slash, and Night Slash is enough damage to take out the Ferrothorn, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see Lucario in the lead. A bit of a tricky lead matchup here, and it is why I was running Waterfall on my Gyarados in my previous video, but here we do make it to the Aqua Tail, and the opponent lets it go through, and we take them out with the Dragon Breath damage before they're able to get off a charge move, so that's actually huge for me. I'm going to let this move go through here. They go for the Surf. I'm going to go for the close combat on the CMP tie with the next Surf, and the opponent throws straight away, so that's perfect for me. And close combat grabs a shield from the Lantern, and I'm happy to let Lucario go down, hoping Kartana can sweep in the back. But we are going to wait out the Switchcock here before we come in. We come in with the Kartana, and we're dealing huge damage. They swap into a Razor Leaf Ludicolo. We are double resisting the Razor Leaf while ours is neutral damage, so we take out the Ludicolo, and I can safely shield once. Actually, I don't even need to shield here, as I can come in with my Gyarados, 2 shield flex on the opponent, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Gyarados into Lantern, so awful lead matchup for us. Typically, it's going to be Escavalier and something like Lucario or Ferrothorn or Registeel in the back. I'm running close combat. This is not enough for the Shadow Ball, and the opponent, no shields. I'm able to flip switch advantage, and that's absolutely huge in this matchup. The only way I'm going to be winning this game here is if I flip switch advantage here, and I'm able to do exactly that. Now we've got a shield advantage as well. Kartana is very glassy, but we do at least live a Thunderbolt here, but they make it to another charge move. I don't know for sure what their third Pokemon is, so I shield that up. I'm actually going to swap into Gyarados to get an energy advantage into whatever is in the back, and they come in with a Ferrothorn. So this still isn't in the clear yet. We're going to go for the crunch, and the opponent lets the first move go through, which is huge. I'm now going to shield this up, and I think they can just go for Power Whip here, and that should be enough damage to take me out, but they overfarm, and they do commit to the Thunder, and Aqua Tail allows me to grab the final shield from the opponent. They should now be in range where I can actually Razor Leaf farm them down before they make it to the next charge move. But actually, no, I'm not quite able to do so, so I just go for the Night Slash here, playing it safe. Night Slash takes them out, one more Razor Leaf, takes out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, another Lantern in the lead. So once again, get a save swap, and they actually come in with a Lycanroc this time around. So they do outpace me to the charge move because I am running close combat. So unfortunately, I don't know if I will be able to maintain switch, but actually I can, just going for a full counter farm down. So let's see what the opponent wants to come in with. They come in with the Lantern. We go for close combat straight away, and this will allow them to get less farm here as we do debuff our defense, and we've put them into range where I can actually farm them down with my Kartana here. So I'm going to wait out the switch clock, come in with the Kartana, we get the full farm down, but they've got Lucario in the back and they got off 2 counters before I can swap out, and that is actually not great for me because here we are going to call the bait. That was my only play, but at this point, look at those resisted counters. They are seriously chunking. They can just go straight for power up punch and they will be able to fully counter farm me down from this range, and power up punch will be enough damage to take out the Kartana, and we do unfortunately lose that game. So into the next battle, we see Registeel in the lead, so pretty tricky. We're just going to swap straight away into Lucario. I know that is my hard counter to Registeel, but it's my save swap, and I used it as a save swap every single time because it is a lot safer than the Kartana. We go for the close combat straight away, but it's not quite enough damage, so I do actually have to use a shield here, but I do make sure I maintain alignment. And let's see what the third Pokemon is. They're actually running a triple steel team, so bit of an interesting team from the opponent. We're going to go for another close combat, grabbing the shield before they throw their energy, and I'm actually going to use a shield here, and then I will swap out, preserving my Lucario, knowing that the rest of my team doesn't do too well up against the Registeel. But now we come in with the Kartana. They outpace me to the charge move here, and Focus Blast takes out the Kartana, but I should be able to come in with my Lucario, and hopefully I will be able to make it to 2 close combats just before they make it to the charge move to take me out. But let's see, it's going to be very close. We go for the first one, grabbing the shield, and we get to the second close combat. This will be taking out the Registeel from this range, and now they are very close to a charge move. They get there in time, but they have such low health that I will be able to Dragon Breath, farm them down with my Shadow Gyarados, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Gyarados into another Lantern. So once again, gonna save swap into my Lucario. This time they bring in their own Lucario, and neither of us want to throw, as we will guarantee switch to the other opponent, to the other person there. So we actually both choose not to shield, and it was a coin flip whether I came in with my Kartana or my Gyarados, and luckily for me, we come in with the Kartana. We also let the Surf go through. We come out with a charge move loaded, but it's a Registeel in the back, and this is still not over yet. We go for Night Sash, hoping for a boost. We don't get the boost, and actually they're going to be able to lock on, farm us down, and they've still got half health Registeel here. We have 2 shields remaining. They go for the Zap Cannon, and they get the debuff as well, so our attack is lowered, but I think these Dragon Breaths are still just going to be a little bit too much damage for this Registeel. They go for the Focus Blast this time around, and we are able to Dragon Breath, farm down the Registeel, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Gyarados into Ludicolo. So I'm going to save swap into my Lucario, and we bait out a Marwile. And this is great for us because Marwile would absolutely shred through the Kartana. So we go for the close combat, grabbing a shield from the opponent. I always throw close combat straight away in bad matchups because either they don't think it's enough for the Shadow Ball and they let it go through, or they shield it up straight away and we give them less farm as we debuff our defense. But now we come in with the Gyarados. Honestly, maybe I should have let that go through, but if they went for the play rough, then it's game over. And here I could have overfarmed a lot more than I did. We go for the Aqua Tail, taking them out. And let's see, we are going to see the opponent come back in with the Ludicolo. We come in with Kartana, but they've got Escavalier, so yeah, unfortunately we just get RPS'd in this battle. I was thinking it could have been the Shadow Sharpedo that Home/Henry showcased quite recently. That was originally a Tho tactical team, but unfortunately they had Escavalier, so Kartana got absolutely shredded and we do lose that game. But GG's to that opponent, and into the next battle we see Ferrothorn, and once again gonna save swap into Lucario even though it is the hard counter, and we go for a Shadow Ball straight away into Pelipper, and we can always guarantee a shield or flipping switch here, so I'm always happy to just go straight for that Shadow Ball. Without Power Punch, we can't really bait there because going for close combat helps absolutely no one. But we come in with our Shadow Gyarados. We are going to have to expend the shield back, but we're going to come out with a ton of energy. Unfortunately, they bait us with the Weather Ball, but they don't quite make it to the Hurricane, and that's massive for me. They come back in with the Ferrothorn here, and they should be a few bullet seeds away from a charge move. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Breaths and then swap into my Kartana, catch the double resisted Power Whip onto the Kartana here, and they will be able to outpace me to the next charge move, but I'm going to use a shield anyways. We should live this, but if they're staying in this matchup, they are clearly weak to Kartana in the back, and they are exactly that as they come in with a Lantern, and we've only got 5 Razor Leafs off, but we've already got them into the yellow health before they make it to the Surf, which unfortunately does take us out. But now it's a race. Can we make it to the Crunch in time? Yes, we can, and Crunch will be enough damage from this range to take out the Lantern, and this Ferrothorn is in range for me to Dragon Breath, farm them down, and take that game. So GG's to that opponent into the next battle, and we see Lantern in the lead once again. So we're once again going to save swap into Lucario. The opponent actually staying in with the Lantern first, so interesting play here. They go for the Surf, and they are just guaranteeing switch advantage as they come in with the Escavalier. Our only hope is if we go for close combat and they no shield it, but unfortunately they do shield it, and this is going to be pretty much game over at this point. So we come in, but the opponent concedes the match, and you might be thinking why they did that, but that was Absol Fairy, and they messaged me saying they saw my Shadow Absol short video and they just enjoyed it so much that they decided to give me a free win. So very appreciative for that free win. But into the next battle, we see Escavalier, and we are able to grab a shield here. We're going to shield ourselves, and the opponent goes for an Acid Spray bait, which is really unfortunate. We're going to go for another Aqua Tail, and the fact they're staying in this matchup makes me think that they might be weak to Gyarados in the back. But honestly, I think a shield advantage Lucario is one of the most deadly things in this meta, so I'm going to come in with the Lucario, and the opponent is going to come in with a Lucario of their own, and they swap out just before we make it to the close combat, and now we come in with the Jellicent. Now here we've got to be very precise with our gameplay. We shield up the Shadow Ball, but if we get the Lucario to come back in and farm us down, they will just be able to power up punch us, and it's just a coin flip whether we win or lose CMP. So instead, I let the Kartana go down. They're still 1 away from the power up punch, so I'm able to go for the close combat, not at risk of them taking me out here at all, and close combat takes out Lucario, and I'm able to take that game. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Gyarados into Shadow Sandslash in the lead. So I'm going to say swap into Lucario once again, even though it is my best response, and we bait out the Pelipper. So once again, going to be grabbing a shield advantage, but they will be able to get that shield basically straight away as I come back in with the Gyarados. And this opponent overfarms massively, so that is definitely the right play here, as now they're basically going to force me to use a shield, and I do actually know what Pokemon they've got in the back. I faced this team a few times. This was the first time I faced it though, so we're going to shield up the Weather Ball bait, which is really unfortunate, and now I actually have to throw my energy here because otherwise they do make it to the Hurricane. And now they come in with the Sandslash. We are going to shield this up, and it is the Ice Punch. I'm going to go for an Aqua Tail just before they make it to the next charge move, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Jellicent in the back, but at this point, I don't think they're low enough here, so I swap into my Kartana, just fully sacrificed it. I don't know why I did that. It was such a dumb play because they come in with Jellicent and they actually Hex farm me down, and now they make it to the Surf, and Surf from this range will be enough damage to take me out, and I do unfortunately lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Escavalier in the lead once again, and the opponent's going to stay in once again. So we are going to go for the Aqua Tail just before they make it to the potential Mega Horn. If they were going to go for the Acid Spray here or throw earlier, as it's just a drill run, then I would no shield, but because they did farm to 8 counters, I do respect the damage because Mega Horn actually takes out a Gyarados from that range, and now they come in with the Credilli. We farm out a ton of energy before swapping into our Lucario, trying to catch the Rock Side. We're not able to do so, but we do bait out the Jellicent, and Shadow Ball grabs the shield from the Jellicent, so we can safely let Lucario go down from this range. They do full send the Shadow Ball there to take out Lucario, and now we can wait out the Switch Clock and then come in with our Kartana. And if they want to go for the Shadow Ball here, which the opponent does want, then they don't even reach it, and now we can just go for a Night Sash. They're going to have to shield this up. And they do shut it up, but we don't get the boost. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. We can let this move go through. It is going to be resisted. It's actually a Grass Knot, which is double resisted. So they are likely running Stone Edge as the second charge move. So Grass Knot takes out my Kartana. We've got a ton of energy, but no need to throw. We can fully Dragon Breath, farm down the Credilli, and take that game. So into the next battle, we see Shadow Gyarados into Shadow Marwile. This is a bit of a weird matchup, but the opponent safe swaps into Credilli, so I'm going to swap once again, banking the Aqua Tail before coming in with my Lucario. And the unfortunate thing here is that 2 Grass Knots is actually enough damage to take us out. I didn't realize that, otherwise I probably would have swapped out a little bit sooner, but we have to shield the second Grass Knot, but I will instantly get the shield back as they come back in with the Marwile here, as otherwise close combat would basically KO from full health. So they do shield it up. We can now come back in with the Gyarados. Our switch clocks are slightly misaligned though, so I've got to be wary of that. We come in with the Gyarados and the opponent tries to make the catch onto their Quagsire. I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail here, and I'm going to over farm and farm basically until they make it to the Stone Edge. We swap into Kartana and the opponent is too slow to react. We snipe them there. They snipe me with the Marwile. That was like the quickest fast move pressure you've ever seen, but we're able to get to the back-to-back Aqua Tails before they make it to like a Power Up Punch and a Play Rough. So Aqua Tail is able to take out the Shadow Marwile, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Gyarados into another Lantern. So once again, gonna say swap into Lucario, and the only play here is if they let this close combat go through. So let's see, are they gonna respect the damage? Yes, they are, which is unfortunate. They do get the counter farm down. Now we're going to come in with our Shadow Gyarados here, and they could be running Mega Horn, so I might actually respect the damage. They do overfarm a ton, but no, I'm going to let the first move go through. It is the Mega Horn, and Mega Horn actually doesn't quite take us out. And now we can go for a Crunch into whatever comes back in. It is the Lantern, so Crunch will be dealing some nice damage to the Lantern, but the Spark does farm me down there, and now they have a Pelipper in the back, so this all just depends. Can we get the Razor Leaf farm down before they make it to back-to-back Weather Balls? It's close, but do they have the second Weather Ball? Yes, they do, and unfortunately this means I'm going to have to use my second shield, and this Lantern has pretty much a Surf loaded. Yep, they have the move loaded, so unfortunately Surf will be enough damage to take out the Kartana, and we do lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. But into the next battle, another Lantern in the lead. So once again, say swap Lucario, once again met with an Escavalier. This is really annoying. It all just depends on, do they let the close combat go through? But yes, they actually do let it go through, and now we flip switch advantage, and now suddenly an impossible game actually looks quite likely. We're going to come in with the Gyarados here, and I don't mind shielding. I'm going to throw straight away because I know they do make it to the Shadow Ball now, but this just wastes my switch clock. So if they do choose to let it go through here, which they do, we can wait it out even more, go for a few Dragon Breaths, take them out, and now we come in with the Kartana, and this is the easiest Razor Leaf farm down you've ever seen, and we're able to take out the Lantern and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Jellicent in the lead. So Jellicent lead is kind of difficult because they've usually got the double fighters in the back. They swap into Lucario. They go for a Power Up Punch straight away, but we've already seen in the 2-shield scenario, Lucario can just go straight Power Up Punch and win this matchup. So we go for the Aqua Tail here, which they do shield, and now I'm actually going to shield up the second Power Up Punch just to guarantee I make it to the Aqua Tail in time, which we do, and I know they're at 2 counters, so if I swap out now, I need 3 counters to take them out, and we are just about able to counter farm down Lucario. And let's see what the opponent wants to bring in. They are going to come back in with the Jellicent. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball straight away, but they catch onto Escavalier, and I literally needed this catch because now Escavalier is in farm down range for my Kartana. So I'm going to come in with the Kartana now, go for the Razor Leaf farm down. It only takes 2 Razor Leafs to take them out, and it just depends. Can we outpace this Jellicent to the Leaf Blade here? They are at the first charge move, very likely to bait with a Surf. They do go for the Surf bait, but I'm able to make it to the Leaf Blade, and this will easily be enough damage to take out the Jellicent, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Gyarados into yet another Lantern. So there were a lot of Lanterns that I saw in the lead with this team, which is unfortunate, but there's always going to be counters to your team. So the opponent responds with a Pelipper this time around, so not the Escavalier. This means I will be able to grab the shield, and I don't really know what their final Pokemon is going to be. It might mean that I do have some play, but let's find out. We are going to let the Weather Ball go through, and it does take us out. So we grab the shield advantage, Gonna wait out the switch clock before coming in with my Shadow Gyarados, and I'm going to commit one shield and fully Dragon Breath farm them down. This time they do full send the Hurricane, which is massive because now I can let the next move go through. Unfortunately, they do get the new mechanics, so they do get off the Weather Ball, but it is resisted. We do survive that. We now come in with the Kartana instantly, and they're not swapping out straight away, so I'm going to use my shield. It is the Surf, and they come in with the Ferrothorn, so this, I should still be in range where I can live a Thunder, so this might be winnable for me. We go for the Night Slash there, and the opponent's going to overfarm massively before finally throwing the charge move. And the opponent goes for the Thunder, but we are just a little bit too low. We do make it to the Night Slash, but I need this to KO the Ferrothorn. And it doesn't do that, and I needed one Dragon Breath to KO as well, but unfortunately it doesn't. A Power Whip takes out my Gyarados, and I do unfortunately lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Registeel in the lead. So bit of an awkward lead matchup here. Last time I safe swap straight away into my Lucario. This time around I stay in, and my opponent makes a very nice catch onto their own Shadow Gyarados, but actually that just means I'm going to get my alignment with my Lucario up against that Registeel. We go for the Aqua Tail here before they make it to a crunch, and we grab the shield from the opponent. They are so low that I don't mind letting my Gyarados go down because they are still switch locked, don't forget, and now I can come in with my Lucario straight away. And we swap into Kartana here, and this is perfect for me. Gonna use my shield here because this will bait out the Registeel to come back in, but at this point I can just let this move go through, and I will be able to fully counter farm down the Registeel from this range as they go for the Focus Blast, and I can shield once and they will not make it to 2 charge moves up against Lucario. I will come out of this matchup with nearly 100 energy. The Pelipper is dry on their own energy, so we go for the Shadow Ball straight away, and 2 more counters will be enough to make it to a second Shadow Ball. They are still 3 wing attacks away from the Weather Ball, so we're able to outpace them to the move, and Shadow Ball takes out the Pelipper, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Gyarados into another Escavalier in the lead, and the opponent is once again going to stay in this lead matchup. I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail here, throwing just before they make it to 7 counters, and Aqua Tail does big damage there. They do make it to the Mega Horn. I'm going to let this move go through, and it is the Mega Horn, and it does take out the Gyarados there, so that's why I did shield the first time around. They come in with a Quagsire. I'm going to go for the close combat on the CMP tie here. I'm not 100% sure what their final Pokemon is, so I will actually shield up my Lucario, and then I'm going to instantly swap into my Kartana here. Go for the snipe. We only get off 1 Razor Leaf as they come in with the Ferrothorn, but we've got a lot of health here, a lot more health than previously, so we can go for a Night Slash. Night Slash does some okay damage. It puts them into range where with the Razor Leaves I should be able to take them out with the next Night Slash, but they're actually running Flash Cannon, which gets stabbed. It hits a lot harder than the Thunder, and unfortunately I think I've just lost this game here. I have to tank this move, but Power Whip basically one-shots Lucario, and they're able to easily mudshot farm me down with the Quagsire, and I do lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Fair play for running Flash Cannon. It did win them the game, so if you want to be a little bit different and run general meta Pokemon but with slightly different movesets, it can pay off sometimes. But here we are getting baited by a Quagsire as they swap into Ferrothorn. We're going to go for a Crunch, and this should put them into range where I can fully farm down with my Lucario. So we swap here, we get the defense drop as well, which is actually vital because even if they go for a Thunder here, they won't make it to the next charge move as I'm able to fully counter, farm them down. I don't know what they're going to come in with, so I'm going to wait to see that the opponent comes in with a Quagsire once again. I actually go for the Shadow Ball here, don't really know why. I thought maybe I'd get to a second charge move, but that's not the case, so unfortunately we gave them an extra mud shot for no reason whatsoever, and they come in with a Registeel, so they make it to the charge move just before I make it to the Night Slash, so I'm going to use a shield, but they do actually go for the Focus Blast. One of the only Registeels I've seen go for Focus Blast when it would KO instead of going for Zap Cannon, but we go for the Night Slash and we put them into range where we can snipe with the Shadow Gyarados, and the opponent has to go for a Stone Edge to take out my Shadow Gyarados here. They throw it straight away, and this will easily mean I can come in with my Kartana, go for 2 Razor Leaves, take out the Shadow Quagsire, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I will say Kartana, really fun to use, but it really does need alignment. And with Lucario as my safe swap running the double nukes, we were guaranteed to get either switch advantage or shield advantage, but shield advantage doesn't really matter because even if I save a shield for my Kartana into like Escavalier or Lucario or Marwile, we're getting absolutely shredded by fast moves before we even make it to a charge move, which wouldn't KO anyway. So yeah, you really do need alignment with this Pokemon, but if you're you're somehow able to guarantee alignment, you always have to play for it with this Pokemon, because if you see it up against like a Mud Boy or a Lantern or something, it's absolutely going to shred through it. So if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.